the little things that made IREV become contentious was the word transmit instead of transfer. Transfer is
Yeah,
in law.
transfer is you move it at the time, and it's when it
Exactly.
arrives, where it
But
arrives.
transmit is not there. So people had the assumption, now we can see the result from our polling unit. Yes, that's what it is designed to do. For you as a citizen to be able to say, no, this is not what was recorded at my polling station, then take it up with the commission as a citizen. But it was not meant to use in collation. So that is the contradiction. So to look at why, and it was a why, when during this design phase of this technology, this should have been captured. Because if you want to put it to the public, it should be useful for collation.
Yeah.
This podcast is brought to you by the Volume Pod in association with the Cable NG, Albarka Radio, 97.5 FM, and Diazu Development.
Many thanks for staying with us. This is Volume with FemiDlive. Excellent day it is at the Future of Democracy Conference, which is organized by PAACA. And yes, sustainable democratic growth. Some of the biggest elements that it entails to do this includes technology. And yes, I have with me, I call him Samuel Folorunsho and many other nicknames. But one of the things that he has been very particular and spectacular about his career is that he does get to know when votes count, and how the votes that count, if they really did matter at the end of the day. He joins me now as we have this conversation. Thank you, dear friend.
Thank you for having me.
One of the biggest challenges along the lines of elections in Nigeria, and INEC in itself over time has introduced new technology over and over again, and some of those technology comes back, bites them in terms of performance and the type of promise that doesn't match the performance. You've also been on the side of technology, on the non-governmental side, monitoring elections. Tell us about how technological difference between what the official INEC is using and the monitoring tools you've created and used over time. In how many elections now, by the way?
I think over 8 years.
Yes, over 8 years. And that will be almost up to 10 elections across
12.
Africa.
Yeah.
So tell us more about how technology powers election and the realities that almost shows up at the end.
Yeah, thank you. I think for technology, I think because technology has its own speed. And we have to always consider that innovations comes before the laws, before safeguards. But I think that has been the confusion around deployment of technology, especially for elections and democratic participation. Because over the years, we've seen technology move at the speed of light. Then we worry about how we want to regulate them, how we want to put safeguards around them. And because of the speed that technology and the efficiency that technology provides, we rush things in terms of not doing things properly, and that is what affected the likes of IREV in terms of what exactly is the mission or the objective that the platform was supposed to achieve, and what the public expect it to be able to do. So because in that, within that space, there was a miscommunication of the intention of what that platform was supposed to do. So the difference within how the commission has used technology is extremely different from how the general populace, which is the NGO, the citizens, have been able to use technology to also engage the process. And it's two different priorities. We have to be clear about the priorities. First, the electoral commission is looking at using it to strengthen, using it to reduce fraud, which the likes of BVAS have been able to do. Because before BVAS, you don't need to pay people to vote. You don't need to buy votes. But since the introduction of BVAS, now politicians pay as high as 20,000 naira for a single vote. It tells you that technology is actually working because it has helped with deduplication, it has helped with curbing multiple voting, in fact, even multiple registrations. So these are there. But on the civil society side, like for instance, after working in electoral monitoring for over 7 years, using technology to be able to tell when votes actually count, when margin of errors actually match. It's from a totally different perspective. And also, I personally have also supported the commission in using technology to be able to direct people to their polling units, to use technology to match people with where they should collect their voters card. So the dynamics is different. It's just the question is now, are we using technology intentionally? Are we progressive with it, or are we just using it for the euphoria it brings, for the, oh, now we are now technology inclined, because we hear the buzzwords and now AI has joined the conversation. We hear the buzzwords every time. Artificial intelligence. We are using technology, but have we actually sit down to ask what exactly is the goal? Because we tend to leave the product design phase to implementation, which is where we are. The little things that made IREV become contentious was the word transmit instead of transfer. Transfer is in the
Yeah,
law.
transfer is you move it at the time, and when it
Exactly.
arrives, where it
But
arrives.
transmit is not there. So for what we do currently at Legis 360 is to now say, okay, is technology actually, it doesn't exist in isolation. It exists with the laws. The laws that exist have to back up the technology for it to be first effective, for it to actually have meaning and be impactful to the process. Because now the citizen expect IRF to be that place for transmission, for collation, but it is not. It is not designed to do so. In fact, the design of the technology of how the results are uploaded is not machine readable. So how do we collate what is not machine readable? It's supposed to be a storage, and that's why it is INEC result viewing. The word viewing was key. Viewing portal. They said come and see. It is not. It is where we calculate or where we announce results. So communication first. Law that will back up this technology
But
second.
let me take you up on that, and this is me asking as a citizen, because the tab in which you open in your browser or your phone or anywhere, it says, oh, viewing center. But what comes under it is you see something about INEC result in PU
Yeah.
wanting, and that gives the perception that that is actually the result, at least for that polling
Polling
unit.
unit, yeah.
And one can imagine thousands of other polling units, and people go into contention of saying this was not what they posted versus what
Yeah.
is showing up. Uh, so it still comes down to the interpretation, citizen language when it comes to election results. Do you think there's more, not just civic, should I say, teaching on how to vote and election awareness that was being done, but also awareness around the technology needs to be done clearly?
Exactly. Now you get my point. So there is a bit of ignorance around how the function of that singular technology was supposed to exist. Do you understand? So people had the assumption, oh, now we can see the result from our polling unit. Yes, that's what it is designed to do. For you as a citizen to be able to say, no, this is not what was recorded at my polling station, then take it up with the commission as a citizen. But it was not meant to use in collation. Do you understand? That is for the electoral process itself, for the commission. The law did not allow it to do collation. That is, it cannot be present, and that's why it was kicked out at the Supreme Court. That it was not meant that we cannot use this result to now write the official final result. So that is the contradiction. So to look at why, and it was a why, when during this design phase of this technology, this should have been captured. Because if you want to put it to the public, it should be useful for collation.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, let me jump into an element of the future. It's a future that it's one can't even say where it will land us, and I use that word land us carefully. Thinking about AI as we have its artificial intelligence, this is going to be the first election, national election. I'm not talking about by-election, that AI will be possibly in its fullest measure as we know it now. What are the implications of that? The good, bad, ugly that can break through?
I'm a good advocate for AI, and I also am a responsible use of AI advocate. The opportunities artificial intelligence provides us is numerous. In fact, the potential is there for scale, is there for efficiency, and is there for speed for service delivery. We have to understand the word service delivery is important. First, we are not advocating for the entire electoral process to be electronic. That's a separate conversation. If you want to have a fully electronic elections, that's a separate conversation. That means you're looking to do away with ballot boxes. You are looking to do VVPAT machines, voter paper trails machines, that once you press, it prints who you have actually voted for. That is a fully electronic election.
that will be under AI and its application in
So,
elections.
but in AI application, actually, so you're looking to say, how do we now use artificial intelligence, for instance, to get ballot box to where they are supposed to be faster? How do we use artificial intelligence for deduplications? How do we use it for tracking? How do we use it in logistics? Because there are other facets. A lot of people faces or areas where you can apply AI in the electoral process instead of focusing on the voting. Because logistics, service delivery, getting essential materials or sensitive materials to where they are supposed to be is a serious challenge. In fact, it's one of the biggest challenges in our electoral processes. That's why we have late opening of polls. Anambra recorded 26% late opening of polls as at 8:30. Do you understand? So we have to look beyond the queuing, the voting, the casting of ballot. There are other ways artificial intelligence can improve our electoral system. There's a company in East Africa that uses drone technology to deliver health medicines to rural communities. Can we start thinking of how to
That
use
would
artificial
play out.
intelligence to drop at least non-sensitive materials to these locations, to remote locations in the larger Eldo, in Bassa, local government in Bayelsa. So there is a lot of potentials for artificial. Why we cannot forget the bad angle, which is the bad actors will always be there. The bad actors that are looking to use it for misinformation and disinformation, for deep fakes and shallow fakes, for instance. So we have to have that consciousness, but we cannot let that deter us in moving forward with these emerging technologies.
Okay. Thank you so much, Samuel Folorunsho, for spending much of this afternoon with us. It's amazing to learn more of that. We'll bring you in as an technology expert as we approach the elections more in Nigeria, and it will be time to learn more and just also question, like an innocent child, why everything is flying all over the place.
Thank you
so much. It's good to have you on.
So much for having
Yes.
me. Yeah.